Gundam lands at PlayStation 4 with a Japanese arcade game that has trouble leaving its roots behind. My name is Paulo, and I'll tell you why in this video review for Mobile Suit Gundam, Extreme vs MaxiBoost on. Of course, you don't reach that kind of relevance without first stopping by other forms of entertainment. And video games are the perfect place to give fans control over one of the Gundams they so adore. Despite all of this, the most recent release is somewhat strange, not only because of its astonishingly long name, but also because the story behind it plays both in its favor and against it. Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs MaxiBoost On is a special case. This Japanese arcade game was launched in 2016 and is the final update of Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs Full Boost. The origins of this new release can be tracked back to 2012. But for some reason, it is only now reaching the console format, and more importantly, the Western Hemisphere. The updates, the character, and content balance developed over the past 8 years are the undisputed features defining this Gundam game. MaxiBoost On is a non-traditional fighting game. For starters, combats are in 2 against 2 teams. Players choose their Gundam among a list of 185 different characters, which not only sends Gundam fans straight to heaven, but also makes MaxiBoost On one of the fighting games with the highest number of characters. Once the figure is chosen, combats take place with an arena fighter style that anime fans are very familiar with, although this one has a depth that other arena fighters don't. The game also features quite a unique system to balance the wide range of character options. Each team has a single life meter with 6,000 points, and each of the 185 Gundam suits has an assigned value ranging from 1,500 to 3,000 points. When a player's Gundam is destroyed, these points are taken out of the total, and the first team to reach 0 loses. So, for instance, a team with 2 Gundams of 3,000 points each may have 2 almighty characters, but if they're destroyed twice, the game is lost. And on the other hand, a team with 2 1,500 point suits may not have the most powerful Gundams, but will have a more flexible margin of error if destroyed. This mechanic, combined with the wide assortment of arsenal of the 185 Gundams, make for a very well-balanced game. One of the main problems of MaxiBoost On, however, has to do with its arcade roots. The score mechanic is so important that it literally becomes the requirement to win, but the game fails to explain this at all. The few tutorials in the game are awful, to the point where after reading them you need to go to settings and try to decipher how exactly to do what the tutorial explained, or else go online to find a better explanation. It's hard to believe that in 2020, there's a game that fails to explain players how to win a confrontation. These shortcomings are proof of MaxiBoost On's lack of content. For those of you looking to play offline, the game has little to offer. Apart from the mandatory arcade mode, the game has a pseudo-RPG mode called MaxiBoost Mission. Here, we'll find some sort of board where we can choose which battle to fight and which one not to. This leads us to a boss who, if defeated, will take us to yet another board. In this mode, you can get improvements for the Gundams, which will make board fights easier, and which include laser gun damage control, or increased damage for face-to-face combat. MaxiBoost Mission offers more than 200 fights, some with predefined conditions, but quickly becomes quite monotone. The 2 offline modes and the ever-present online modes, used to upgrade your rank or just play casually with friends, are about the extent of what the game has to offer. One could think that the content would touch the heart of Gundam fans, but there's not that much for them either. There's nothing there that even resembles a story mode. The characters don't even interact with each other, and the game doesn't even allow us to see the 3D Gundam models. What it does offer are several audio customization options, allowing us to modify the specific soundtrack of each Gundam with several songs of the series. But that's about all the interesting content that the game has in stock for its fans. As for the audio-visual design, MaxiBoost On knows very well how to cover up the fact that it is based on a 2012 game. The Gundam models used for fighting are the only 3D models we get to see in the game, and these being basically giant anime robots do not need realistic graphics. When you pay attention to the stages, however, or look closely at the interface that practically screams Japanese arcade, the outdated nature of the game is revealed before our eyes. The music, at least, is a good companion and features the classic songs of the series, which give it the personality that the rest of the game is lacking. Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs. MaxiBoost On is a hard game to recommend. It's not a bad fighting game. On the contrary, one has to admit that with such a high number of characters, it is able to keep a very good balance. The problem is that it's about all it has to offer, even for die-hard Gundam fans. Those who dreamed of a Gundam fighting game with an emphasis on a competitive balance will probably have a blast. But for the rest, nothing in the game will keep you hooked for too long. For such a legendary series, this Gundam game is only appealing for a very specific segment of its fans, and that ends up being its worst flaw. Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme vs. MaxiBoost On gets a score of 6.0. The extremely high number of characters coupled with its good balance is its strongest point, but the lack of content even for Gundam fans is its major weakness. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications. Follow us on social media and visit www.malditosnerds.com to stay up to date with the latest video game news. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time.